Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Touchdown Tech Podcast. This is episode 10. 10.
Big 10.
Double digits, Adam.
Yeah, that's crazy.
How you feeling on episode 10, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, what else can you say when you're 8-0?
I'm feeling 8-0. That's what I was going to say. You took the words right out of my mouth.
That's just that you can't feel any better.
Mm-hmm.
When our whole reason we have this podcast is football, right?
Yeah.
So when we're 8-0, you can't get much better. I can talk about me personally, but right now we're just focused on football.
I love it. The vibes are just good.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the vibes are good. There's colder weather. You know what I mean? You got when Adam's in a flannel, the good times have arrived.
I just got this recently.
Yes.
First flannel I've owned in like a long time.
I love it, man. I think you're a flannel guy.
Yeah.
Tennessee Tech wins again. They're 8-0, like we mentioned already. They beat SEMO. They got revenge on SEMO, 42-23 over the past weekend. Kind of a back-and-forth game a little bit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, Tennessee Tech controlled the game, and there was really never any doubt they were going to lose. But it got a little testy at times.
Yeah. Offensively, like it was a solid game.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think anyone like excelled. You know, like usually we see at least one or two guys put up some big numbers, but it was kind of like an overall team effort. Everyone just went out there, did their job, did what they needed to do, and they got the win.
I agree. I want to give props to the defense for sure, especially in the first half. There were multiple drives where the offense admittedly kind of gave them bad situations. They were kind of in some rough field position scenarios. The defense bent but did not break. That's what I took from the first half. They allowed 2 field goals. There was 3 or 4 drives where I think SEMO could have easily punched it in for touchdowns and could have really changed the way that game was played, but the defense just kept standing strong. So shout out to Coach Mamau and those guys. If I said that name right, I know that's the defensive coordinator. But they've been playing good all year, and you know there was a lot of effort and emotion on that defense in the first half that I could see from not only the defensive coordinator but also the entire team that feeds off of Coach Mamau as well. So I think that's just that was a good group performance right there.
Absolutely, and you know when you have a good offensive focused team that you know puts up a lot of points on the board, that tends to draw attention away from the defense. And I kind of hate that. I love watching explosive offenses. That's one of my favorite things about football is watching a team just heave it deep or just break off big runs. But it really does overshadow what the defense is doing. And this whole year, this defense has played great. They've played out of their minds, really.
Yeah. No, I agree. They forced a lot of negative plays. You know what I mean? They had a lot of tackles for loss, for a lot of negative yardage. They had 6 sacks in the game total, which is something that we brought up last week. We were like, there's a potential chance for Tennessee Tech to rack up some sacks because SEMO was last in allowing sacks in the OVC.
Yeah. That's
going to continue to happen. They allowed 6 on Saturday, so that was an on-paper matchup that we were like, hey, watch out for, and that's exactly what happened.
We're basically analysts at this point.
Something like that.
That's the equivalent of watching film and, you know, figuring out a team's weakness. We're basically professionals now.
Well, I didn't watch any film. I just looked it up. But, yeah, I agree.
Paper's film. It's
Paper's film.
Yeah.
On-paper matchups, they don't do it justice. I mean, until you line up and play, you don't really know what that other team's going to do. Yeah. Speaking of don't know what they're going to do, Jax Leatherwood was supposed to be out for like 4 to 6 weeks in early October. The guy plays in the first half, at the end of the first half, and then the whole second half. That dude's a baller.
Yeah.
Man, he is a player.
Played really good for the shorter amount of time than he usually would play.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. I mean, like we said, he was out 4 to 6 weeks was the timeline in early October. So I'm thinking that's about, this is about week 4, 3 or 4 for him. So he's probably not going to be back. He's probably going to play. SEMO got down early, 21-6, and they just needed a spark, I guess. And so they're like, let's just put Jackson, whether he's hurt or not. We're going to throw him out there, whether he's ready or not. And I'll give him credit. That dude, he put together some drives now. I'll be honest with you. If Jax Leatherwood starts and plays the whole game, I think we got a little bit of a different game on our hands.
Yeah, they might put up a few more points, but I still think Tech would get the win. Yeah. I think that was just kind of like a break glass in case of emergency. They took the little hammer and shattered it and brought him out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you got a guy injured like that, like he might be able to play. You might be able to send him out there, just depending on the injury. But you don't want to. You don't want to rush it. Kind of like what Oklahoma did with John Mateer.
Yeah, very very similar situation. I think his is like a knee injury or something. I think he had a big old Don Joy brace on. I mean, I'm very familiar with those in my playing days. So I know when you got a Don Joy brace on, you either have been hurt or you're trying not to get hurt.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what happened to him. he had a weird stance as a quarterback. He had those legs were spread way apart, and he kind of bent down, and they would shotgun every time, and he would raise up and throw it. That was just their offense. There was a lot of quick passing game, and man, he kind of sliced them up a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've not really seen that defense look like that. But again, they bent, but they didn't break. You know what I mean? They got at one point in the game was within 5. It was 21-16. But when SEMO's offense arrived, Tech's offense started getting going. They started answering. That's what the good teams do. When somebody scores, you answer them.
Yeah, perhaps with that injury, he's probably a little less mobile, couldn't move around as much. Maybe that's why Tech was racking up so many sacks.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to make the joke that we're fans of football. We love talking about football. We've been watching football forever. In terms of like the actual game, like the X's and O's type stuff, we try our best, but we're not coaches. Let's be for real.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to talk about leg injuries, especially with the knee area, me and you are experts.
It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing, but me and you have both suffered some pretty bad knee injuries. We both still, suffer the consequences. So we might not be able to be experts and talk about the X's and the O's of football, but we can talk about knee injuries. And I can tell you what, knee injuries will limit you. They will limit your mobility, and they will hurt bad. So maybe that's why Tech was racking up so many sacks.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know the ins and outs of the guy's injury. When you're out 4 to 6 weeks and you got that Don Joy brace on that one specific knee, I tore my MCL twice in high school. I think that might be a torn MCL. I know a torn MCL when I see one.
Maybe a partial tear or something like that.
Could be. I think that's probably more in line with what the actual injury probably was. But he came back and played. So give the guy credit. He's tough. I mean, I don't know if that was a situation where the coaches were like, hey, Jax, we got to have you. Or if he went to the coaches like, listen, I can play. I'm good. Send me out there. And like we said, he got the ball out pretty quick. So Tech wasn't really able to get much pressure on him. They were able to later in the game. But when he first went out there, they were not letting him drop back and stay back there very long because they were worried about him getting hurt, I think.
Yeah.
But Tennessee Tech, the coaches, they were ready for that. I asked Coach Wilder in the press game, I was like, I didn't really expect Jax Leatherwood to play today. Did you guys expect him to play? Did you have a game plan for him? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. We anticipated that if he were to come in, we were going to be ready for him. And so that was good.
With that leg injury, maybe they expected him like, he's not going to be able to drop back too much. They're going to want to protect him, so he's going to be getting the ball out quick. So maybe I don't know what kind of coverage they were running, but maybe they were running more man kind of stuff, expecting the quick game.
It was definitely softer. You know what I mean? Defensively for Tech, it was definitely softer. I think the way the game was, you got to think of situational football. It's 21-6 when Leatherwood first came in.
Yeah.
You're going to give up those little 5-yard outs, those little drag routes across the middle. You're going to give up that quick stuff. You can't get beat over the top because time is starting to become a factor, you know what I mean, at the end of the half and on into the second half as well. And like you said, you expect that quick game stuff to come. So, Tech, I think Tech they were willing to give up some of that shorter stuff as opposed to a deep. If you get beat deep and they score like that, then we've got a ball game on our hands. But SEMO was never really able to do that. By the time they hit a deep pass for like a 38-yarder, Tech was already up, 2 or 3 possessions at that time. So that's just the way the team's really good at playing situational football, depending on what the score is, the down and distance. So that was good to see.
Yeah, that's definitely a specialty for a lot of coaches is being able to tell situation. Because even in the NFL, the highest level of football, we see a lot of coaches who just have bad situational awareness. They don't recognize matchups, or they don't understand the time on the clock. They don't understand what they should do in certain situations. But Wilder really seems to excel at that kind of stuff. He seems to plan for a lot of it. Maybe he's got like ADHD or something. Maybe he's like hyper focused and planning on every single outcome. But he seems like he's always prepared for whatever a team will throw at him, whatever situation they're going to be in the game.
Yeah.
He is prepared for it.
I want to give credit to Coach Wilder, of course, but for also the rest of the staff. You know what I mean? The coordinators. It seems like Coach Wilder, he's put together this staff. He's got them the way that he wants it to look, but he also is a guy who's going to let his coaches coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not going to – I don't think he'll jump in and try to, he'll put his input on things, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the team meetings or anything, but it just seems to me like on game day, he will let his guys coach, and he'll just worry about managing the game, which is what a head coach should do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's definitely more of a motivator.
Yeah.
He builds programs and he motivates his players. I mean, we see it with all the social media stuff that he does. He's always talking to players, getting them involved, doing fun things.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why he's been able to keep a lot of guys in the program after coming in after the head coaching transition.
Right.
Getting able to keep a lot of guys in the program and getting new guys. It's just that personality.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just motivates guys really well.
Yeah. Tech's they're just rolling right now. I wanted to shout out the defense first because I felt like they, especially in the first half, they really they played at a level to where Tech, they didn't have to worry about anything going into the second half, if that makes any sense. I mean, obviously they made adjustments for Jax Leatherwood coming in, but as far as that goes, defensively, like we said, a lot of negative plays. They had an interception. Andrew Smith had another pick. He was on the ground this time, so he couldn't take it back to the house.
It's a shame.
But he got a turnover. Chima Iwagwu recovered a fumble in the end zone. That was forced by Drees King. That was toward the end of the game. That was an electric play that just really kind of sealed the deal for Tennessee Tech. So that was a good play. My camera battery freaking died, so I didn't get that play.
That's such a shame, dude.
But I almost did.
That little camera you carry around on game day is such a pain.
It's about this big. Yeah.
But like I said, it's not about the size of the lens. It's about the fight in the camera.
Yeah, that camera's got some fight, and it's got some zoom too. I'll tell you what. But anyway, I'll try to get some better stuff this week for sure. I've got some more camera batteries coming on the way, so I'm not gonna miss nothing this time.
We'll have some good film and some good photos because I'll be at the game taking photos.
Exactly. So it's gonna be we got full coverage this week.
Yeah,
that'll be good. We can go ahead and flip to the offensive side of the ball, the flashy stuff. We keep talking about how bad they played offensively and then that they weren't really in a rhythm, and that is true. They still scored 42 points.
Still,
when you have a bad day offensively and you have 300 yards of offense and 42 points scored, you're a pretty good football team.
Is it really a bad day? I mean, it's just not. The standard for what Tech should be doing offensively is so high. The bar is through the roof. I mean, what do you? I don't think Victor Wembanyama could dunk over this bar.
Yeah.
And the Tech's offense is set. So it's just like whenever they have a solid day where no one really shines, there's not like everyone kind of did their job. There wasn't like a guy who went off for 100 yards or 3 touchdowns or anything like that.
Right.
It just kind of seems like, they didn't do what we expected them to do. And that's kind of crazy because you can't do that every week, but it seems like Tech does that every week.
Yeah. Well, SEMO was able to kind of get some pressure on Kokoa, which is something that I've not really seen much of this year as far as actually the defenders getting in his face and making him a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah. I've not seen that yet. SEMO was able to do that. But
we are trying out 2 new guards, right? So that's not that that's like a problem because I'm sure that O-line is really deep.
Mm-hmm.
And we shouted out the 2 new guys last week, but it's just it's like plugging in 2 new players. You gotta kind of get everything down. You gotta figure out tendencies and what guys like to do and what they don't like to do, and you gotta get used to making adjustments on the line and stuff like that. So it might have just been like getting the cobwebs out of the system.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, even though we had the Delk twins as our dudes of the week last week, or I did anyways, and I still think they're playing good football. But anytime you lose both of your starting guards, the offensive line is going to look a little different.
Yeah.
Next man up that's true, and it's really a factor for this team. They've got a lot of depth, but like I say, if you lose both your guards, chances are you're not going to improve offensively. It's going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think that's anything to fret about right now. I saw T.J. Holmberg get some snaps at right guard, so that's good. They're kind of trying to rotate those guys in and out. But offensively, like I said, they got pressure on Kokoa, but he was able to kind of maneuver around the pocket and improvise a little bit. Yeah. So that was good to see. He had 2 really good throws to Tramel Jones and Aiden Littles for touchdowns. The Tramel Jones one, I did get a video of where they threw it to him in the flat and he kind of spun around and scored. The Aiden Littles one, I got a video of it, but it wasn't really good. The goalpost got in the way. I didn't want to get out onto the field and start recording him, but I did what I could on that one. It was a great individual play by Kokoa and Aiden Littles. It was a good catch. It was tight coverage, so that was good to see.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, hopefully, like we did best of what we could this week in terms of like videos and stuff like that, but. We'll hopefully have a lot more stuff to show the fans next week. For sure. And it's a big game. I mean, it's Gardner-Webb. I think Gardner-Webb, talent-wise, is the best team they've played so far. I think this is the best team that they've seen so far. I think, I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to look like. They had Nate Hampton as the guy, and then they've been playing Cole Pennington here recently. I couldn't find any injuries on Nate Hampton. I couldn't find anything that was newsworthy on that, so I'm assuming that's what happened. I'm assuming Hampton is a little banged up, so they're starting Pennington now. But all I know is Hampton was on fire before he had to come out. You know what I mean? He was playing really good, and that was something that I talked about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
when I saw Lindenwood, SEMO, and Gardner-Webb back to back, I thought those are 3 great quarterbacks Tennessee Tech's about to play. And so far, they've ran into 2 good ones, and I think they got another one this week too.
Yeah, but they are suffering from that. We don't know what's exactly going on, but they do have 2 guys playing.
Yeah,
it does give you more to plan for, but it also does stop that team from establishing like a consistent starter. So maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see another quarterback change in this game. Maybe we'll see someone. Maybe we'll see him like a little. I don't know if it's like a quarterback battle or if it's an injury thing.
I just don't see how it could be.
I don't know.
Hampton was playing so good. I don't see how there could possibly. They're not just going to bench him. I just don't think there's any way that's possible. It's got to be an injury. He's got to be banged up or something. Something's got to be going on with that. But like Jax Leatherwood, the guy could come back and in the second quarter and start lighting us up like Leatherwood did. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know if they're going to see a quarterback better than Jax Leatherwood this year.
Probably not.
That dude looked good, and he's like 7 foot tall. He's huge.
Yeah.
I've not seen a quarterback look like him in a while.
Bro's playing in the wrong sport.
He looked 7 foot tall. From where I was standing, he looked like he was
He's towering over his O-line.
Yes, and he was like slanted in his stance. Like I said, he was still taller than everybody on the field.
That's crazy.
It was unbelievable. It was like something out of a movie or something. It was crazy. But I don't think they're going to play a better quarterback than him. I think Hampton has the ability, and he can run too. But I don't know how much you're going to see of him really.
Probably not. Probably not a lot. But we'll see. That's one of the fun things about football is you never really know what's going to happen until you're down that grass or that turf playing.
Yeah, that can be good or bad depending on the situation, the unknown for sure. Gardner-Webb to is a team full of unknowns because they just got through beating Lindenwood 48-20. They destroyed them.
Yeah.
The week prior, they got beat 37-7 by UT Martin. And UT Martin's getting hot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from UT Martin. They've gotten hot. They're playing good football.
They're putting gasoline on the fire.
But should they beat Gardner-Webb 37-7?
I don't know. Maybe that's a sign of some inconsistencies, a little chink in the armor kind of thing. It's we'll see. Teams can always come out. I mean, look at like I think it's the NFL. I forget. There was some team that was like, I think it was the Dolphins, came out and I think they whooped the Falcons. The Dolphins are horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you never know what teams are going to do. You really don't.
Yeah. Well, that's just the way the game is nowadays. I mean, you look at the FBS level of college football, you can't predict a game anymore because you have no idea what's going to happen. There's about 3 or 4 pretty good teams that are most likely are going to run the table, but the rest of them, it's just like the SEC, for example, you've got 2 or 3 teams at the top that are looking really good.
Yeah.
4 through like 13, they're all about the same. Mm-hmm. Anybody can beat anybody on a given day. So that's good for competition, obviously. But like I was going back to Gardner-Webb, Pennington, his first start was against UT Martin. He threw 3 picks. Mm-hmm. And then he flips it back around and throws for like 280 on Lindenwood and gets that win. So it's like, I don't know what to expect from this Gardner-Webb team. I know the talent is there, and I know they have potential. Yeah. But if they can bring it all together, I think Tech's gonna have a game on their hands.
Yeah.
But if they're limited like they have been these past couple of weeks, Tech's not a team you want to be limited going against.
No,
especially coming into Tucker Stadium.
You have to have everything when you go against Tech, and no team has had everything. Mm-mm. And even when they do, sometimes they're just not good enough to compete.
Yeah.
Tech is a team that like. They don't even have to have everything and they'll still be good. Obviously, you don't want to be missing like major pieces. Like we don't want to miss like a linebacker or something like Swafford, or we don't want to miss Kutris or anything like that. But even still, we're still fine. Mm-hmm. But other teams they lose key pieces and it's like, ooh, that's tough. You can't really come back from that.
It tanks their season. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It tanks their season. And I hope that Nate Hampton's okay. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I'm just saying I don't know about his availability this Saturday. I'm not sure on that. Their running game is pretty good. I'll give Gardner-Webb credit. They've got a guy named Carson Gressick, I think is how you say that. He had 4 touchdowns against Lindenwood last week. 4 touchdowns. That's for a running back.
Yeah, I would say I'm looking at his stats right now. He's 80 carries on the year, 607 yards, 9 touchdowns. So he scored 4 of his 9 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's a touchdown machine. They've also got a guy, Quayshawn Holmes. He's also pretty good too. So their running attack is decent. You know what I mean? They can run the ball.
Yeah, that guy's he's not as explosive though. He's more of a workhorse kind of guy.
Yeah.
And then Carson, he's definitely more their explosive back. He gets more yards on average and less carries. So maybe that's like a 2-headed monster that Tech's going to have to worry about. They even have Nate Hampton. No, that's our quarterback. Sorry.
That's the guy that we're just not sure about him.
He runs a bit.
Yeah, he definitely can run. Hopefully he, for the sake of the game and for Tech's sake and for Tech's defense sake, hopefully he does not play. But if he does, he does. I mean, like Coach Wilder said on the podcast, we had him on the podcast last week. He said, you want every team's best. That way you can find out how good you are.
True.
So maybe they want Nate Hampton to play. I don't know. I'm just a fan. I just don't want. I like the 60-0 myself.
Maybe they'll pull out. Have you seen the new show Chad Powers?
I've heard of it. Yeah, it's like Glenn Powell.
Yeah, new, like a guy who was like ex-college football player, puts on a disguise and starts at a random school. Maybe that's the situation. He'll bring some random kid onto their roster in a face mask. It's like Peyton Manning or something like that. He's just gonna torch.
That'd be our luck. Yeah, we'd still beat him. I don't care. Bring him on. But put Peyton Manning. What is he, like 50? Hey, he's not gonna escape Theron Gaines.
But he's got the knowledge. Okay, he's got all that ball knowledge in his head. That's why his forehead keeps.
You get all the knowledge you want to. Do you meet Aaron Swafford head on in the A-gap? You can find out how much knowledge you got. Going back to the actual game, though, like I said, their rushing attack's really good. Tennessee Tech, though, we keep talking about it. How good are they at stopping the run? They're as good as it gets at stopping the run. They're awesome.
They are good. It's like Tennessee teams just seem really good at stopping the run. The University of Tennessee does it pretty well. Their D-line it's been stacked the past few years.
I don't know what games you've been watching.
No, this year's a little questionable, but in years past.
Okay.
And Tech's, they've built up a really solid D-line.
Yeah. They can stop the run. That's just plain and simple. They've got a good defensive line that keeps the offensive linemen off the linebackers, lets the linebackers roam around and make plays, namely Aaron Swafford. He had 9 tackles last Saturday. It seems like that's pretty normal for him. He just has 8 or 9 tackles every week. So, that's an interesting matchup, obviously. It always is. You always want to stop the run. You always want to run the ball. We'll see what Gardner-Webb can muster up. I don't know. To me, Tech's going to be ready to play because there's so much riding on this game. It's homecoming, sure. That's kind of a whatever. I don't know how fired up the players get for homecoming.
Yeah.
When I played, that was just a distraction. That just made me mad.
Coaches either loved homecoming or they hated homecoming, because for them, like, sometimes it's a way to get the players more motivated. Like, everyone's watching, all your classmates are watching, so go out there and compete and play well. You want to look good.
Yeah.
Some coaches hate it. Some coaches would tell you it's a distraction. Don't be worrying about homecoming. Don't do any of the extra stuff. Don't be doing homecoming court or building floats or whatever.
Yeah.
Some coaches, I remember, they just hated homecoming.
As a player, I didn't like it. My senior year, we had a tug-of-war contest. I exerted all my strength, and then we played Wilson Central. We rushed for like 400 yards with Malachi Dow and Javen Strode. Shout out those two guys.
Yeah. Usually in high school, you schedule weaker guys for your homecoming, but then you get the rare circumstances of the homecoming ruiners. That's whenever you would go to a team's homecoming, coaches would always tell you go ruin their homecoming.
That's another thing. Yeah, that'll give Gardner-Webb a little bit more of an edge. I didn't think about that.
That could be the motivation that they're coming in with. This is also the week that Tech will be 9-0.
Yeah, that's another thing. We'll go ahead and wrap this soapbox up about homecoming, and then we'll go to the 9-0 thing. I got one more thing to say about homecoming. I don't really know how much of a college homecoming, like, how does that really affect everybody? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't do too much with the frats. I don't pay attention. I know a guy who's in a frat.
Okay, cool.
I work with him. But other than what I hear from him, I don't know what happens with the frats. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So I don't know how important it is. I don't know if they'll be turning out big time for the game. I don't know if they're going to be partying, if they're going to be there making noise. Hopefully the student section is electric since it's homecoming. That's
an advantage right there. Right there is the advantage. If there's any advantage to homecoming, because like I say, college homecoming, I don't know, that's just not a big deal. I don't think it's not like it is in high school. No. But if there's an advantage to homecoming, it'll gather more people for the crowd noise. You know what I mean? Hopefully Tucker Stadium will be full on that one side that we have, and hopefully they'll be really loud, on third down and whatnot. So that could be a slight advantage. I don't know. At the end of the day, these two teams are pretty good football teams. Yeah. The rubber's going to meet the road. One of them's going to play better than the other one, and one of them's going to beat the other one. Yeah. And one of them's going to be 9-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's my prediction.
That is your prediction? I think that's my prediction, too. I really hope that – and that's so cool that we get to be there. Both of us will be there to witness, for the first time in Tennessee Tech history, they will be 9-0.
Yeah.
And
he will be. Okay. Yeah. This ain't a prediction anymore.
No,
this is a straight up statement.
If I had to go, if these two teams were unknowns,
okay,
right? If it was like a question mark and a question mark, and all I have is their stats and their records, I would say Team A, aka Tennessee Tech, is by far the better team.
You'd have Tech beating Ohio State with with the stats on stats.
You would have, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's, at the end of the day, Tech has allotted a lot of talent via the transfer portal, recruiting rankings, and however other methods you want to talk about. They've acquired a lot of talent with depth, and their starters are just better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know, it was like a month or two ago. X's and O's can only take you so far in football. Out scheming somebody, that'll only go so far. At the end of the day, it's kind of about the Jimmies and Joes more so than the X's and O's. Yeah. Who are your players? What kind of one-on-one matchups can you create? One-on-one mismatches, I should say, can you create offensively, defensively, all the above? And those teams win the games.
Yeah,
the better players.
You're absolutely right.
Players play. You know what I mean? So
let's talk about some players.
That's a good segment right there.
Transition.
Yeah, that was good. I was going to do that. If you didn't do that, I was going to do that.
Well, I read your mind.
Very nice.
Let's talk about Dude of the Week. Who do you have for Dude of the Week?
Me first?
Yeah, let's
Dude
go
of the Week. For my Dude of the Week, I've got Chima Iwagwu. Don't know if I pronounced that right. Don't care. Guy's a baller. Number 91 on defense. I mentioned him a few weeks ago, and I couldn't pronounce his name back then. I still can't pronounce his name. I'm going to learn that name because he deserves for me to learn that name. Yeah. He's a heck of a player. He recovered a fumble in the end zone. Like I said, my camera battery was dead, so I didn't get to play. But as soon as the ball came out, I remember I just pointed to it. I didn't say anything. I didn't let anybody know. I just pointed to it. I thought somebody's going to get that football right there. Yeah. It got kicked around. Big Chima scoops it up in the end zone. Touchdown. Gives him the thumbs up. Boom. They're basically a walk-off home run from Chima Iwagwu. But just a great individual play. He's been playing really good all year. He was a big-time get for Tennessee Tech, and he's a heck of a football player.
Yeah, and he's got an interesting name.
Say that 5 times fast.
I couldn't.
You won't make it out alive.
No, I would be afraid of saying that. As Tennessee fans, we're a little hesitant about learning hard names.
I'm good at it at this point.
Well, yeah,
Garantano, Nico Imaliava.
Yeah, but then they just end up breaking our hearts or just making me mad every week.
Both those players suck.
Yeah. So for my Dude of the Week, we've already covered it, but honestly, I think it's a good thing to talk about this late in the year. My guy is Swafford.
Aaron Swafford.
Swafford. He leads the team in tackles basically every week.
Every week.
The guy is the definition of a field general on defense. He's just everywhere. He makes plays. He's the most consistent guy you have on defense. Yeah. It feels like every week his name is top of the board in tackles.
Yeah.
That's what you want from your linebackers. You want guys who are just going to be there consistently, getting tackles. And that's why Tech's really good at stopping the run, because he's plugging gaps.
Yeah. No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say, I like that pick a lot. Yeah. Because Swafford is not only a great player who shows up every week, he's a captain on the team, he's a linebacker, which is a position where you really want your leaders at. If you're going to pick 2 or 3 positions to have them. And even Saturday, I saw him on the sideline kind of just getting his guys up, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it wasn't like a rally because we were up the whole game. But I'm just saying he was just checking on his dudes, you know what I mean? I think he was at the D-line tent just kind of encouraging those guys. So he's a leader on and off the field. He's he's just an exceptional football player. Like you said, every single week he's leading the team in tackles. Yeah. So shout out to Aaron Swafford.
Hopefully we get to interview him before the year's over. But also I would like, there's a few other guys on the list that I'd like to hopefully bring onto the podcast, get a little exclusive interview with them.
We don't have enough time or enough storage in the computer to interview all the guys we want to interview.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just keep this going after the season's over and just start interviewing people. We'll just turn into an interview.
3 years from now. You remember we're interviewing CT. You remember that time against Gardner-Webb? Yeah. That'd be insane. Well, got anything else to add?
I don't think I do. I think we covered a lot. Honestly, we're just yapping.
Yeah, it's kind of one of them episodes. Yeah.
I mean, that's all you can do. We're waiting for the bread and butter. Okay, we're waiting for the main course here. We're waiting
playoffs.
Yeah.
Bring me the playoffs. Yeah. That's going to be fun to cover right there. I got to get there first. I get that. I'm sorry. I'm looking ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, in terms of we're here, we got playoffs here, history in the middle. We're going to go 9-0. I'm calling it.
Yeah, I think so too. That's all the time we have for you guys today. Thank you for watching and listening to episode 10 of Touchdown Tech. Make sure you guys like this video. Share it with other people because this is the Tech Football Podcast. If you know anybody, you got a buddy of yours that likes Tech football, send him the podcast. Let him know what we're all about because we love covering Tennessee Tech football. It makes it really easy because they're beating the crap out of everybody right now, and they're going to be 9-0. Almost jumped the gun big time right there. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We'll catch you next week.